Hi everyone! Are you ready to learn a new card fold? Well then let's not waste any more time. Let's head on over to the craft table and let's get started. Okay, this isn't exactly a new card fold, but it is a new version of the Bendy card. One day my niece showed me a picture of a card that she wanted to make, but she didn't have instructions for, so I just headed on into the craft room and came up with my own rendition of that card. Instead of the arms folding across each other, in this card they attach in the front. If you want to learn more about how I decorated the Christmas card, just visit my blog, Crafter's Castle, and I will have a link below in the description box. Now let's get on over to the craft table. Like with any A2 size card, you can make it landscape or portrait. And today I'm going to show you both ways, but I'm only going to show you the basic cuts and folds of putting this card together. And then from there, you can use any dies or punches or anything you want to change the shape or fancy it up. But we're just going to go through the basics today. The first directions I'm going to give you are on making this card fold in the landscape direction. So you're going to need an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and we are going to cut it in half right across here. So that will be at 5.5 inches. Let me see here. Okay, so we've cut it in half. We're going to set 1/2 aside for right now, and we're going to take the other one and we're going to cut it in half this direction. So we're going to cut it at 4 1/4, and that will make it 4 1/4 by 5.5. And set one of these aside because you're not going to need that. But we're going to take this and we're going to cut it in half again. So we're doing a lot of cutting things in half. And half of this is going to be 2 1/8. Get that in there. So now it's 2 1/8 by 5.5. And you have two pieces and you need them both. So these two strips that we made, we need to cut them to 5 inches each. And you can do that when it's all one piece, but I like to do it afterwards. So I'm going to slide this in here. And we're going to cut these down to 5 inches. There we go. Now it's time for scoring. So I've got out my scoreboard, and this is 8.5 inches across. So we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And that will give us a landscape card. And use your bone folder. Make sure you get that crease really good. Now we're going to take the strips that are 2 1/8 by 5, and we're going to score those. And we're going to score that at 4 1/2 inches and 3 1/4 inches. And we're going to do that to both of them. So again, 4 1/2 inches and 3/4 of an inch. There we go. Okay, I brought my craft mat in so that there's more of a contrast so that you can see the cards easier. So we have the main part of the card already folded, and now see if you can see the score marks on here. But I'll just tell you, on the 1/2 inch score, right here at one end is 1/2 inch, and you're going to give that a mountain fold. And the 3/4 of an inch score line, you're going to bend the opposite direction, giving it a valley fold. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing with the other one. So we're going to fold the 3/4 like a mountain fold. I'm sorry, the 1/2. Don't pay attention. The 1/2 inch side mountain fold. The 3/4 inch side a valley fold. And the reason for this is because that the 1/2 inch is going to be hooking onto the back of your card. Okay, so that's where the 1/2 inch part goes. And then the 3/4 inch part goes in the front. And it's the same thing on the other side. Okay, but before we get to that point, we are going to go to these 3/4 inch folds. And what you're going to do is, keeping them the opposite direction like this, you're going to take one of them and you're going to cut halfway up from the bottom. So just get your scissors and make a nice little cut halfway up. From the other one, you are going to do the same thing, but that one's from the bottom, so this one you're going to cut the top halfway. Okay, so they are the opposite, and the reason for that is so that they slide together, which is hard for me to do on camera, but see how they slid together like that, connecting them? That is what you're going to be doing. And then we're going to be attaching each side to the back. So that's the next step. I'm going to be using 1/2 inch scrappy tape. It's basically the same as score tape or any other double-sided tape that you want to use. But I'm using 1/2 inch, and I'm going to put it right here along that 1/2 inch fold in the back. So let's get this done here. And take that, get that off from there, and we're going to attach it. So just lay it on your card, bring your card right up to the fold, and fold it over. Don't put this, let me see if I can get there. See how it's not completely down here on this fold? Leave a little bit of space there. Okay, let's do the other one now. Alrighty. And we're going to do the same thing. Whichever way is easiest, for you to do this. I know I'm flipping this all over the place, but you just find a way to line it up with the fold of the flap and fold it right over, just like that. Now, later, if you want to put another piece of cardstock on the back to hide that, you can do that. Now we're going to turn it around. Now, I had you fold these opposite directions so that you wouldn't get them confused with the back. But now, we're going to put them together, and we're going to flip them out a little bit so you could actually decorate right on there if you want. And there you go. There's your card, all ready for you to put dimensional things in, and sentiments, and flowers, and gems, and lace, and whatever you want to do. You can round the corners. You can use your dies or punches to do the edges and make it really fancy. But right now, I am just showing you how to put this fold together. Okay, are you guys ready for me to walk you through this one more time? Except this time, instead of going landscape direction, we're going to be going portrait direction. All right, so again, an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. Except for this time, we're going to be cutting it down the center this direction. And half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4. And that's exactly where we're going to cut it. So let me get this lined up good here. 4 1/4. And here you go. This you need to set aside because you're going to use it. Now we're going to take this and we're going to have to cut this 11 inches in half, which should be 5 1/2 inches. So let me open this up here. We're going to go down to 5 1/2 inches. There we go. And cut that in half. So 2 halves, one of them set aside. You are not going to need it. But this other one, we're going to cut in half, just like we did the other one, the same direction even. So we're going to be cutting it at 2 1/8. So it's going to be 5 1/2 inches this way and 2 1/8 this way. So here we go. And 2 1/8 inches. And again, you will be needing both of these pieces. And now we're going to cut them each to 4 3/4 inches. So 4 3/4. And again, if this is something you want to do before you cut it in half, you can. But I like doing it afterwards so I don't get confused as to which direction I'm supposed to cut them in half. But that's me. I get confused easily. So 4 3/4. And we now have our 2 pieces and we're ready to head over to the scoreboard. Okay, it's time to score the base of the card. And we're going to score it in half. So it's 11 inches long. We're going to score that at 5 1/2. We are going to fold it and run this bone folder across it. And that gives us our A2 size card, and it is portrait style. Next, we're going to take our little strips, and just like before, we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. But this time, we're going to score the other end here. We're going to go over to 4 1/4 and score that. We're going to set that aside, and we're going to do the same thing to the other one. So we're going to score that at 3/4 of an inch and at 4 1/4. Okay, just like before, you're going to have one end that is 3/4 of an inch from the end, and the opposite end, the score line is a 1/2 inch from the end. And we are going to score the 1/2 inch from the end one in a mountain fold, just like before. And the one that's 3/4 of an inch in, we are going to do that one in a valley fold. So looks like a little Z, just like before. So same thing again. This one has the little 1/2 inch on the end here. And this one here has 3/4 of an inch. So again, there's the Z. And it's exactly like before. The little 1/2 inch part is going to be attached to the back side of the card. Just like that. So let's do this one more time. We will take the double-sided tape, and I'm using 1/2 inch scrappy tape. And here, I'll just do this one while I'm at it. Okay. And remove the layer and attach it to the card. So holding it up here for you to see. Get the score line as close to the card as you can, but don't go all the way. Let's see if I can get this on there. Don't go all the way to this fold. Okay, we don't want it to get in the way of the card, folding properly. So let me get this on here. It's easier to do when I'm not trying to do it on camera. All right, so there's one. Oh no, well that's okay. I could do it while it's on there. Not a problem. I forgot to cut on the other fold, but not a big deal. So again, line this up and fold it over. There you go. And just like before, you can put another layer of cardstock on the back if you want to hide where these attach. Okay, so on this one, I forgot to have you do your little cuts on this, but it's not too late. So get your scissors, and one of them, it doesn't matter which one you do, but one of them cut on that score line halfway up. And on the other one, since this one was done on the bottom, the next one will be done from the top down, right on the score line, and go halfway down so that you just bring them together, one over the top of the other, and then you can do those folds outward like that. So do you remember when we were cutting all of the pieces and there was this extra piece that I said set aside? Well, now I'm going to tell you what it's good for. This is perfect for printing or stamping your sentiment on, and then attach it to the back of the card. It covers up where these attach there and is the perfect place for your sentiment and your signature, whatever it is that you want to put on there. I also want to show you a little tip, and I've kind of already done it to this one. If you don't like the sides being straight like this, then the perfect thing to do is take these strips and gently curve them. You don't want to bend them, but gently curve them on each side, and it will create a more rounded, softer effect. And then we just hook it back together, and as you can see, that's more rounded for a softer look. So here we go. These are both A2 size cards, and they are awesome. And like I said, you can use punches or dies or whatever to give this something other than a square shape if you would like. Same thing with the arms, you know, you can cut them into little waves or something. But something I forgot to show you is that when you take them apart, they fold up perfectly to fit in an envelope. So both of these fold right up beautifully. Thank you all for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed today's new card fold. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.